Welcome to Redemption in Amore, a tale of love and transformation. This is chapter 1 of 12, where we embark on a powerful journey through the depths of heartbreak, despair, and the resilience of the human spirit. Join us as we dive into the emotional roller coaster of Richard's life and follow his path toward healing and love.
Chapter 1: The Abyss, Mental Turmoil. My life had always revolved around Natalie. From the moment we met in college to the birth of our beautiful daughter, she was my anchor. But that anchor had shattered, leaving me adrift in a sea of despair. The breakup had come out of nowhere, blindsiding me like a freight train in the dead of night. 2 weeks later, the shockwaves continued as I learned she was now with Kevin, an old friend I had trusted. I felt like a spectator in my own life, watching helplessly as it unraveled. As I stared at the empty apartment that used to be our home, a storm raged inside me. The memories of us laughing, cuddling, and raising our child together seemed like cruel illusions. I couldn't escape the haunting questions that replayed in my mind. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? The pain was unbearable, an unrelenting ache that consumed my every waking moment. And so, in search of solace, I turned to the bottle. Alcohol became my refuge, a false friend that promised temporary escape from my torment. But with each passing day, the escape grew shorter and the pain deeper. I knew I was spiraling into a dark abyss, but it was the only place I could find solace for now. The abyss had become my sanctuary, a place where I didn't have to face the harsh reality of my shattered heart and the loss of the woman I had loved more than life itself. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon when I received that fateful text message. The notification tone echoed like a knell, signaling a message that would shatter what was left of my heart. The message was from a mutual friend, one who had tried to spare me from the truth for as long as possible. It simply read, "Natalie and Kevin are together." As I stared at those words, my world crumbled around me. I felt as though the ground had been ripped from beneath my feet, and I was plummeting into a void of despair. The images of Natalie and Kevin together flashed before my eyes, like a cruel montage of betrayal. Betrayal from Natalie, the woman I had shared my dreams and my bed with, the mother of my child. Betrayal from Kevin, a friend I had trusted, a friend who knew the depths of my love for Natalie. My phone buzzed again, and it was as if the universe itself conspired to torment me. It was a message from Natalie, the woman I still loved with every fiber of my being. She wrote that she had moved on, that she had found happiness in the arms of another man. Her words felt like a dagger in my chest, twisting with every syllable. Anguish and anger swirled within me, and I couldn't bear to read any further. I threw my phone against the wall, the shattering sound echoing the brokenness of my spirit. Tears blurred my vision as I collapsed onto the cold, unforgiving floor. As I lay there, surrounded by shattered glass and the remnants of my shattered life, a voice in my head taunted me. It told me I was a fool for believing in love, for believing in loyalty, for trusting anyone ever again. It whispered that I should embrace the darkness, that the abyss was the only place where I truly belonged. And so, with a heavy heart and a bottle in hand, I took another step into the abyss, willingly surrendering to the numbness it offered. It was a dark descent, but it was the only path I knew at that moment, a path that would lead me further away from the light of hope and deeper into the shadows of despair. Days turned into weeks, and the numbness of alcohol became my constant companion. It was a hazy refuge, offering brief moments of reprieve from the torment that had taken root in my soul. But each time the buzz wore off, reality hit me like a freight train, reminding me of the emptiness that had become my life. In a desperate attempt to fill the void left by Natalie's absence, I turned to meaningless hookups. Faces blurred into nameless strangers as I drowned myself in the shallow waters of physical pleasure. It was a pathetic attempt to forget, to feel something other than the crushing pain that had become my constant companion. Yet, the more I indulged in these encounters, the more I realized that physical intimacy could never fill the void left by emotional connection. I felt hollow, my actions a stark reflection of my broken spirit. These encounters brought no joy, no comfort, only a deeper sense of isolation. My friends, the few who remained, watched in helpless concern as I continued down this self-destructive path. They tried to intervene, to pull me from the abyss, but I pushed them away, unable to accept their attempts at rescue. I believed I was beyond saving. As I gazed into the bottom of yet another empty bottle, I questioned the purpose of it all. What was the point of this existence, this pitiful existence where I was a mere shell of the man I had once been? The darkness whispered that there was no point, that this was my fate, a life of despair and self-destruction. The abyss seemed to stretch endlessly before me, its depths unfathomable. I had willingly embraced it, seeking refuge in its shadows, but with each passing day, it consumed a little more of me. The pain remained, an ever-present reminder of what I had lost and what I had become. I was lost in the abyss, unable to see a way out, unable to imagine a life beyond the torment that had become my reality. As the days turned into weeks, the reflection I saw in the mirror became increasingly unrecognizable. My eyes, once filled with hope and dreams, now held only despair and self-loathing. I had become a stranger to myself, a casualty of a heartbreak that had left me in ruins. The emptiness of my apartment mirrored the emptiness within my soul. It was a silent witness to the chaos that had taken over my life. Empty bottles cluttered the floor, and the walls echoed with the remnants of arguments and the sound of my own drunken laughter, hollow and devoid of joy. My daughter, the innocent soul caught in the crossfire of our shattered relationship, had become a distant memory. The pain of her absence gnawed at me like a relentless hunger. I had lost not only the love of my life but also the chance to be a present and loving father. In my darker moments, I questioned whether I was even worthy of love and happiness. I felt like a failure, a broken man who had lost everything that mattered. The abyss I had willingly entered now held me captive, its chains forged from my own self-destructive choices. But amid the haze of despair, a flicker of something, perhaps a glimmer of the man I used to be, stirred within me. It was a spark of realization that I couldn't continue down this path of self-destruction. The abyss was no longer a refuge, it had become a prison, and I yearned for freedom. In the depths of my despair, a tiny voice whispered that there was still a chance for redemption, that I could claw my way back to the surface and rebuild the life that had crumbled around me. It was a fragile hope, but it was a lifeline I desperately clung to. I knew the journey would be long and arduous, filled with obstacles and uncertainties. But in that moment, I made a decision to step away from the abyss, to face my demons, and to reclaim the shattered pieces of my life. The road to redemption would be a treacherous one, but it was a road I had to travel if I ever hoped to find the light of hope once more.
Thank you for joining us for Chapter 1 of Redemption in Amore. If you found this story as compelling as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the next chapters of this incredible journey. Stay tuned for more emotional twists and turns as Richard's story unfolds. Until next time, on StoryWise.